So, are you losing sales, not getting enough leads? One of the reasons could be that you might be confusing the customer. Hey, it's Gary. I want to talk with you about some really cool strategies and things to think about with regards to sales. If you're watching this live, give me a 1 in the comments. If you're watching this in a replay, give me a 3 in the comments below. Look forward to also seeing your comments. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn or YouTube and you have not subscribed or followed, certainly appreciate it, especially YouTube. As some of you may know, we got hacked earlier in the year. And we're having to start from scratch all over again. I guess some people get their jollies doing things like that. Anyway, so real quickly before I talk about some of the reasons why people are not getting enough sales and leads, especially if you're an author, speaker, coach, or consultant, I have a worksheet that I can get to you via a PDF that you can print off and join me on my next challenge that I'm doing to show speakers how it's possible. If you've ever wondered, how is it possible that successful speakers do $100,000 in a day? How is that? I just did that last week. Last week we did 100,000. $500,000, some do 10,000. And if you're not there, how is it even possible? What's the structure behind the business model that enables professional speakers, consultants, coaches to do something like that? So if you're interested, type in the word in the comment PDF, all right, PDF, because I will give you the PDF with the with the worksheet for this. Now, to get the worksheet, you will have to, I'm going to give you an ethical bribe. You have to go through my challenge. Hang in there with me on the challenge. I'll give you the link for it, okay? When you get the link, you go ahead and sign up. Go ahead and join this program. It can be a game changer for you. So let me share with you one of the reasons people have a hard time getting enough leads and sales for their business. One reason out of many is they confuse the customer. Be very careful about your message in confusing the customer. I'll give you an example. There's a company locally that has an ad. It is the worst, the very worst. In fact, it was so bad I had to call them up and say, your marketing campaign is like the worst I've ever seen. So what it amounts to, I have the notes here on what kind of company it is. I don't know where it's at. It's a home solution company, whatever the heck that is. So they start the ad by telling you some type of story that most of it's true, but a little piece of it's not. So it's like in 1492, Christopher Columbus, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he sailed the seas, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and there's one little something in there that's wrong, and then it says, did you catch what was wrong with this story? Well, here's the problem with that. Now the person is thinking about, well, I don't know. It's like telling a joke that's so bad that nobody gets, and maybe one person, but the majority of people don't get it. So if you don't know the story, for example, years and years ago, a nickel used to have a buffalo on it, right? So be the buffalo coin, used to be a nickel with a buffalo on it. Well, if you share that to a kid that's, 10 years old now, they have no idea that a nickel had a buffalo on it. So if you talk to them and say, do you know what a buffalo nickel is? They have no idea. So what happens is when you confuse a customer, right? What's a confused consumer, possible consumer, or a customer do? They do nothing. So you have to make sure that your message is so clear and concise. And when I would listen to these commercials from this company, they would just have these little stories, and you're supposed to figure out what's wrong and what's happening while you're trying to figure it out. And if you don't know anything about the story, it's virtually impossible for you to figure it out. So their point was not well made at all. And then while you try to figure out how stupid it is, you're forgetting everything after that story when the person is telling you about their product or their service that they offer. You're totally lost. So when you are putting your message together, how simple is it? If it's too convoluted, too complicated, I see a lot of people like in the health field and the medical field, they'll use words like, the cellular molecule makeup of the whatever, or in your brain, your synapses and your neurons. If your neurons don't come together and then create a connection, it's just too much. So you have to dumb it down. Third, fourth grade level. In fact, one of the websites I encourage people to use for that, like when we write copy, like if we're going to put some copy out, I want to make sure it's a third to fifth grade level. I got to dumb it down. And if somebody can't understand the message clearly, they're going to get lost, confused. What's a confused customer do? Nothing. So there's a website called HemingwayApp.com. HemingwayApp.com. If you take any copy that you're writing and you paste it into that, when you bring up that website, it's just a website, HemingwayApp.com. You paste it in there, and it's going to tell you instantly at the grade level in which you're writing or communicating your message. It's kind of cool. So you'll see on the top, I think it's top right, it'll say like 12th grade. And then it'll share with you what kind of words you should omit, sentences or paragraphs as you change or move around. And my goal is, as I'm doing that, I take a word out and add another word, I simplify it. So I go from 11th grade, then I try to bring it down to 8th grade, to 6th grade, and I try to bring it down to the message is easy and simple for a 3rd to 5th grader to understand. And when you're thinking this way, you're starting to think more about what are they looking for, what's in it for them. Sometimes, we want to share people our successes, and we want to maybe impress them that we know this fancy word and these fancy words and we've got all these degrees. Bottom line is, within reason, they don't give a crap. What they care about is one thing. Remember this, they care about one thing. They care about the outcome. Once they're convinced that you can give them the outcome, then at the next point, they're looking for know, like, and trust. So, okay, if I can be convinced that this person can give me the outcome that I desire, now, do I know, like, or trust them? And what can you do to get them to know, like, and trust you more? Convince them that you have the ability to give them that outcome. For example, when I shared with you in the beginning of this video, I've got this worksheet that if you type in the word comments, you type in PDF. What I'm going to do is get you to a link, and then the outcome is I'm going to have for you is I'm going to convince you beyond a shadow of a doubt how speakers and consultants and coaches can make $100,000 in one event or in a day, $50,000 or more than $100,000. And then my next job would be to convince you that it's possible for you. How could you position yourself where something like that could be possible for you? So I'm telling you what the outcome is. Now, if that outcome is something of intrigue to you, if somebody says, wow, I've always wondered, here I'm a coach. I feel like I'm a hobby coach. I do it for a hobby because I don't make enough money. How do you get to that level? So now if I've convinced you that I could maybe show you how when you'd like to, then you'd be interested if you were a speaker or a coach or a consultant. So that's the outcome. So know what the outcomes are. Before and afters are a great way to show outcomes. Testimonials are also a great way to show outcomes. So-and-so, bought this from me and here's the result they get. They were so happy with it and, they're talking about it. So all these things are very vital to keeping a customer from being confused. Make sure your message is clear and concise. And I think that's about it. Let's see here. What else do I have to do? Yeah, I think I'm out of here. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you're like I said, on YouTube, do me a favor and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Like I said, we got hacked, so that's no fun. LinkedIn, love to see your comments. Going to try to do a lot more on LinkedIn. Great community here. And that's it. I'm out of here. Between now and the next time we get to chat, you know what to do. If you don't, you do now. Don't let anything or anyone rent space in your head. Have a blessed day. We'll see.